What's up, everyone? Volathis here, and just wanted to have a little bit of a chat with you guys. I know it's been a while since I made a Final Fantasy video, and I actually had a plan to do a little bit more than what I'm doing. Whoops. Playing with the string and I'm hitting my keys here. But that didn't happen. I was actually going to use a lot more footage for this other than chatting in my room. So first things first, as you can see, my room looks different. Why, you may ask? I transferred FCs. I'm no longer in Red Machinima. I'm actually in Volathis. Still on the same server, but I really felt like I needed to change. The FC, the free company I was in, wasn't really going anywhere. It was very small, and I had been with the raid group that I'm in now for a very long time, and I just felt it was more natural to just join their free company, so I'm here now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm glad I made it. I probably should have done the switch sooner, but hey. Also, I finally downed... Let me look at the screen. It might seem a little bit better since you can't see my actual face, but I actually downed last night, and I posted this on Twitter. I downed Turn 9 of Binding Claws of Bahamut. For those of you that don't know, since... oh man, it's been a while. I want to say since November/December, our raid group has had issues. Most of the people have left our raid group. The core people that basically started it, including myself, are the ones that have pretty much stayed. So we've been able to, thanks to the help of our free company, we've actually been able to make at least a group to clear it, and we're going to start Final Coil soon, and I can't wait. Honestly, I wish I could have been in sooner, but, you know, when your raid group has issues with scheduling and all that, that'll happen. So let's talk about the main reason I'm here. I want to talk about 2.5. The first part, of course. From what we know and all that, it's been dropped for a little bit. I haven't done a whole lot with it. I've mostly just been making sure to stay capped, and obviously our raid group has been working on T9, and that hard work paid off, but I want to talk about it. So let's hop into it. So main quest, I'm not done yet. I've heard a little bit about what's going to happen. I basically just, story-wise, I'm right after Keeper of the Lake ends, so I won't really spoil that for you. But so far it's actually looking very interesting for a main story quest line from what we've seen. Not to say that the other ones aren't important, but I've definitely enjoyed this one the most, and definitely can't look forward to the rest of the stuff. And from what I hear, it's only going to get better. And then that leads me into Hildebrand for our side quest. I haven't touched that yet. I will probably clear it eventually. I usually end up doing it. I do typically enjoy them. Their comic relief and all that, and I find that fine. And as we know, collecting all those primal ponies have paid off because they added in a new... yeah, I can't talk. Added in a new mount. Unfortunately, I don't have any primal ponies. I just got a unicorn. And so eventually I'll probably go into that because I do like having mounts. But moving on, and as well as they updated the Ixal dailies. Now the final quest, they dropped 2 more oak nuts, which is good. I'm actually doing those dailies. For the longest time I just got bored with it, but then I really got back into crafting. I think with the latest patch I'm almost up to 3 stars on everything, which is awesome. So definitely glad they updated the oak nuts. That's definitely helped me as well with progression on that. So, and of course they added the ethereal wheel. I actually just joined this FC, I think, a few days ago, so I haven't really... in fact, for the longest time, I haven't even visited my room in the old FC. I stopped going, so... and I just got permissions for that and all that, but I haven't really used the ethereal wheel, but I think it's pretty neat since it generates those free actions, which honestly will help out the smaller FCs a lot that are still growing and may not have the points to spend, or they're spending them too rapidly, and I think that's pretty neat. I would like to see maybe eventually the Ethereum will maybe do other properties besides just generate free company actions, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And of course, we can't talk about the new patch without the new dungeons they added. I've done all those, thank goodness. Endopore Keep, that was, I would say, not too bad. It was definitely interesting. I really like the theme that nature is really taken over the area with the vines, and as well as the first boss I find pretty interesting, where you need to hide behind the statues and all that, and his one AoE, the farther away you are the longer, and you want to make sure you don't kill the statues. I thought that was a pretty decent fight. The next boss after that, I found the mechanics were new and interesting with the whole killing the orb and the CM. I actually found that a little difficult. The demon wall, I was surprised at what they did with that. You know, originally in the first Endopore Keep, it was a boss, and now it's just pretty much the pre-trash before the boss. And they said this was going to be 4 times scarier. And to be honest, I think in one of my groups we actually failed on the DPS check, and the walls made it. And I thought it would wipe us, and all it did for us is really, it was like 2,000 damage per second, but we were close enough that it killed it. I was actually kind of hoping that would kill you, but hey, that's what happens. I would definitely have, I think what I would like better is maybe if the creatures you have to kill had been in the demon wall's path, and you had to kill them on the path in time. I think that would be more challenging, but that would also be a lot of balancing issues and all that. But the final boss wasn't too bad. Actually, I found that pretty interesting with the whole you need to DPS those ads before the AoE fills up, watch your footing and all that. I would say not a bad dungeon. And next we'll talk about the Wondrous Palace, which was reminded me a lot really of the old dungeon, but really they just swapped out the bosses. But let's see, the first boss, the spear, that boss was alright with the spears, nothing big, you know, DPS the spears and then just really burn the boss. Second boss with the totems, I found that pretty interesting because typically, you know, if you're the DPS, obviously you want to find those DPS totems and DPS that guy down quickly. Last boss wasn't too bad either. A typical boss drops a totem, need to get him out of the totem, move him around. Wasn't too bad. Ads, in my opinion, were nothing special. A very totem-themed dungeon, and it was a little bit interesting to actually be there to save the tomberries for once instead of worry about them stabbing us. But not too bad. And then we have the Keeper of the Lake. The first boss wasn't too bad. Really reminded me of the Brayflox Longstop boss, knocking those things around. As well, I hate the second boss. I gotta be honest. I healed that, and I've died a few times to that boss. He can be a real jerk. I've had moments where he's imprisoned me, or moments where he blocked me off, and then he threw fire right in the only safe spot. And then he rammed me, and I was dead. And then the last boss was, I found very interesting with the Midgard's armor. Not actually fighting him, but more of a image of himself. Definitely not the best fight if you're a black mage with all the movement, but not too bad. Maybe if I had done it differently, I would probably make it shorter. But other than that, I actually like the Midgard Summer final fight, mostly because of the challenge of running around and all that. And definitely when you're doing the story quest, I think the story definitely adds and really makes Keeper of the Lake my favorite. Without the story, maybe not so much. I mean, without, all the dungeons are not too bad. And then of course we got Odin Hard Mode. Haven't really done it. Not, if I do, I'm thinking I might just clear it. because I heard that it's really just glamour, and I don't really glamour too much, but when I come to glamour, I typically just go for elegant stuff just because I like the look of it. I don't really go outside of that. I don't even transmog with Crystal Tower gear anymore or anything like that. I just stick to elegant because I like the look of it, and it's raid gear. And next, that leaves us with the new Crystal Tower World of Darkness. I actually enjoyed it. The bosses and everything were pretty good. I love the Cerberus fight where you get 8. I definitely also want a Cerberus mount. Hint, hint, Square Enix. But the fights were not too bad, pretty interesting. Definitely fits probably I would say one of the best Crystal Towers. Cloud of Darkness is a lot of fun. You definitely can't tunnel vision the fight, and I enjoy a fight where I do enjoy sometimes, in Crystal Tower just zoning out, but I really like fights where you got to pick up your act and focus. And as well, now we have a new PvP mode for the Cornell Flats, if I said that right, which is basically just focused on killing people. It's called Slaughter. I haven't tried it yet. I probably will eventually, and honestly, I can't wait. Especially with the whole adding in your own personal limit break. To be honest, I would like to see that almost even in single-player content. Maybe not outside of instances, but even in instances, I would like a separate limit break. Maybe make it not so as powerful as the group limit break or something like that, but I would definitely like to see that. And definitely the Slaughter sounds amazing just because there's also buffs and all that, and just, a PvP that's focused on just killing people. What more can you ask? And as we all know, I totally forgot about the World of Darkness, the weekly. Doing all the CTs to get your carbon coat, I think it's carbon coat, for accessories and all that. It's okay. I mean, in the long run, it helps everyone because everyone's doing every CT, so if you're maybe a recent 50 and you still can only do the first CT, you're more likely to get a group. I mean, that's good for the community, while as someone like me, I get bored doing that because I've done all the other CTs so many times that I just don't want to see it, but I'm doing it for that carbon coat. So, and I think that is the weekly we get right now, and eventually they're going to add in the carbon twine and the tombstone, which honestly I can't wait for the tombstone. I might have 10 tokens already pre-saved for that, but that happens. And as we know, hunts got updated, and I'm not the biggest fan of hunts. I actually don't like hunts that well, just because of the mentality that comes behind it. Early pullers, I don't really get mad about that. I get mad about the fact that I've raided with people that have literally wanted to drop out of the raid just to go do a hunt, where I just don't see the reason why you would do that. I mean, you're working towards a goal in a raid. The raids typically drop what those hunts are offering, and it just... I just don't get along with hunts. That's just me. I mean, I don't mind the early pullers. It's gonna happen. I don't mind the fact that there's wandering monsters. I actually like the idea. I just don't like the mentality that comes behind hunts. And I don't think there's really ever going to be a way to change that. But I am glad that all the new hunts drop more marks, because you need them anyways, because I think the new logs are like 500 seals. So I guess that's about it for this episode about 2.5. I'll make sure to make a new one when they drop the... oh my god, I can't think of the name. I can't think of the content that comes with it, but when the new patch drops, our new mini patch, or whatever you want to call it, 2.5, blah blah blah, or whatever, I'm gonna drop a video, and I'm also gonna start making more patch videos. Maybe even make them the day they come out. I'm not sure. I personally think that if I were to talk about these patches, I should have the content. And I do apologize for the fact that I haven't done about half of the things I just talked about. You know, but I definitely wanted to talk about. I want to know your guys' opinions about these. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you think that some of these things could be changed? What do you not like about this patch? What do you like about this patch? What would you like to see expand upon about maybe the things that have happened, like I said with the ethereal wheel? All those things, comment down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. And as always, stay magical.